Brandon "Puff" Kalicharan led a fast-paced, extravagant lifestyle, owning multiple high-performance cars worth millions of rands, including this VW Amarok, which will later play a major role in this story. He hosted lavish parties and was wearing only the finest clothing. However, he was also a prominent underworld figure in Durban, heading the 11th Street Gang, named after his Chatsworth residence. Kalicharan built a powerful drug distribution empire through a violent campaign on Chatsworth streets, eliminating rivals in drive-by shootings. His success was largely attributed to alliances with various street gangs across Durban, including the notorious cartel gang in Wentworth, which was led by Jasmine Simone, the Durban's Queen of the South. By his side was his wife, Jeconiah Kalicharan, who fully embraced their opulent lifestyle and was renowned for her love of luxury clothing and jewelry. Brandon Kalicharan grew up in Crossmoor, Chatsworth, attending Crossmead Primary and Crossmoor Secondary School. After losing his father at a young age, he was raised by his single mother in Universal Place Road, a more affluent part of Chatsworth with freestanding houses, distinct from the nearby tenement flats. Kalicharan's journey into the dangerous world of gangs and drugs began in the early 2000s when he left his job at a clothing factory shop to work for Kelvin Kelly's Naidu, the owner of Fat Funk clothing shops in Chatsworth and Phoenix. However, police sources revealed these shops were fronts for a profitable drug operation. On the 9th of April 2008, Naidu was killed in a drive-by shooting by the Dre Boys gang. Naidu and his employees were attacked as he drove them to work, when Perumal drove a bakkie in front of Naidu's Chrysler, slowing him down. Duncan Arumugam, his brother Gerald Arumugam, and Brandon Govender then approached the Chrysler in a BMW from behind and fired shots at the car, killing the Naidu and wounding his employees. 3 members of the gang were later convicted and sentenced to life in prison for the murder 2 years later. But before that, on June 2008, the 11th Street Gang got their revenge after the assassination of Naidu on April 2008. Gerald Arumugam, the brother of Duncan, was gunned down on June 2008, allegedly by Brandon Kalicharan, but unlike the Dre Boys gang, he wouldn't be arrested until a decade later. This period marked Kalicharan's rise to power in Chatsworth's underworld. Leaving the clothing business behind, he opened a tavern, which became his base for expanding his criminal empire. The Dre Boys stood as a major obstacle, leading to a violent gang war from 2008 to 2011. Numerous people were killed in drive-by shootings, but police were unable to link any of the murders directly to Kalicharan. Once he consolidated his control over Chatsworth, Kalicharan shifted his operations to drug wholesaling, supplying large quantities of drugs to street gangs across Durban instead of engaging in street-level distribution. The growing demand for sugars, a cheap heroin-based drug, generated tens of thousands of rands daily. Kalicharan flaunted his opulent lifestyle on social media, often sharing videos showcasing his luxury cars, stacks of cash, and firearms. In one notable birthday video, he and his wife styled themselves as a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, complete with dramatic music and slow-motion scenes of them brandishing guns. Brandon Kalicharan frequently shared videos and photos featuring himself with leaders of various gangs, including the infamous cartel gang from Wentworth. In one image, likely taken at his birthday party, he poses with a cake designed to look like stacks of American dollars while openly displaying the prison gang code 626. Other videos and photos show Kalicharan alongside cartel gang leader Kyle Para Pretorius at parties. But on December 15, 2022, Kyle Para Pretorius was killed in a gang-related assassination. As Kalicharan's empire expanded and the death toll rose, the KwaZulu-Natal Anti-Gang Unit, working under the Organized Crime Unit, began intensifying its focus on him around 2020. On the 28th of January 2021, the KwaZulu-Natal Anti-Gang Unit conducted a dramatic midnight raid, leading to the arrest of Brandon Kalicharan. Armed with a search warrant, the police, many of them in balaclavas and armed with automatic weapons, breached the outside of the home shortly after midnight. With their torches slicing through the darkness, the police went in search for the alleged leader, placing several of his henchmen who were caught unaware on their stomachs as they searched the premises. According to police sources, the 11th Street gang has built up an extensive drug wholesaling network that extends beyond Chatsworth. The gang gained notoriety for allegedly carrying out drive-by on its rivals in Chatsworth and Shawcross for control of the lucrative drug trade. And Brandon was linked to the June 2008 drive-by shooting of Gerald Arumugan, who was gunned down in a hail of bullets in Chatsworth. But on February 12, 2021, Brandon "Puff" Kalicharan was granted bail of 15,000 rand in the Durban Regional Court. On March 21, 2023, at approximately 2:30 p.m., as South Africa commemorated Human Rights Day, tragedy struck the Kalicharan family while driving along Peters Road in Springfield Park, a Durban industrial zone. Heavily armed gunmen ambushed their VW Amarok, unleashing over 50 rounds of high-caliber bullets from both sides of the vehicle. Brandon and Jeconiah were hit multiple times and died instantly at the scene. Their 9-year-old daughter, critically injured but still alive when paramedics arrived, was rushed to the hospital. Despite their efforts, she later succumbed to her injuries, marking a devastating end for the entire family.
What we have established at this stage is that it was an apparent drive-by shooting. The matter is alleged to be drug-related because the man who's been shot here, it shows that he's been on the Hawks radar for some time on drug-related cases. He's alleged to be one of the
On April 1st, 2023, the KwaZulu-Natal Police's Anti-Gang Unit conducted an intelligence-driven operation in Morningside, Durban, targeting suspects linked to the March 21st drive-by shooting that claimed the lives of Brandon Kalicharan, his wife Jeconiah Pillay, and their 9-year-old daughter Jecaidia. During the operation, officers identified a vehicle matching the description of the one used in the Kalicharan family's murder. This led them to a luxurious residence in Morningside, where a confrontation ensued. 5 suspected drug dealers were fatally shot during an exchange of gunfire with the anti-gang unit. Among the deceased were Bevin Loftus, an alleged kingpin from Wentworth. The police seized 5 firearms, including 3 rifles and 2 pistols, as well as an undisclosed amount of drugs and money from the scene. Many in the Wentworth community believe that Loftus ran the Hollywood gang and was behind the rampant shootings that have taken place over the past few years. Hollywood gang is rival of the 11th Street gang and the cartel.
But his father, a former policeman now out on bail, says his son was nothing more than a businessman.
Who was Bevin Loftus? Okay, Bevin Loftus is my son, 34 years old. I'm not just saying this because I'm his father. Good-natured person, always took care of the underdog, always had struggling people around him, always tried to help them progress in life. Did for the poor, ran a tow truck business for the past 7 or 8 years. He's been in the taxi business in the Wentworth organization since 2011, I think. Yeah, so that's basically the core of his business. His name is vilified by these policemen. He was harassed in the towing industry by members of the Wentworth police and of the Brighton Beach as well.
So what do you believe is the motive for what you believe was happening to Bevin?
Okay, you know, there's this thing going around that Bevin's a drug dealer. Yep. Bevin's not a drug dealer. Bevin's a legitimate businessman. The amazing thing is that the actual drug dealers collude with the police and are creating this narrative. It's hard to believe, but that's actually what happened.
Has Bevin ever killed anyone?
No.
And 2, was he ever at any point involved in the drug trade?